307 Outdoors.
Oh my gosh, Brenda. Do you ever have the feeling we're being watched? Alright, I'm heading out to the high deserts of Wyoming to chase some goats. I have an antelope license, but it's not for the area I'm going to. But my grandpa has a license for up here, and hopefully he can stab an antelope with an arrow. Well, we survived the long trip. It's a long ways up here, but let's go find a place to set up camp, get our equipment ready, and go find some critters. Everything's set up. Looks like we have all the comforts of home. Now let's go unload the side-by-side, go for a ride. All right, we're out trying to find some spots to put up some blinds. We got a couple spots in mind. We got a couple days before the antelope season starts, so we're gonna probably shoot some prairie dogs, hang out, and just do some camping. We like to hunt this spot right here, but it's obviously covered in cattle. We don't like to set up our blinds where cattle are because cattle can be really destructive and they might tear down our blind. Also, we don't want to set up our blind where there's too much water because too much water can become a range issue, and which means that the animal might not even come close enough so you can take your shot. And it would help if the spot you were looking at had water at all. But we're still looking for the perfect spot to set up our blind. Before we get any further into the video, I gotta introduce you to the crew. This guy right here is Jack Skinner. This guy right here is my Uncle Todd. This guy right here is my grandpa. I don't know who that goofy looking son of a gun is. Oh, that's me. And this guy is William. He came all the way up here from South Carolina to do a little bit of hunting with his Uncle Jack. So hopefully we can get an antelope down. Obviously we're here for antelope, but I'd never pass up a chance to harass some prairie dogs. I got a lone prairie dog up here. I'm gonna go try to get him. We gotta leave you one.
Nice shot. That time.
Well, that's a confirmed kill right there. On our way back to camp, we saw quite a few more antelope. We saw a couple more prairie dogs, and William's never shot a prairie dog before, so I got him set up, and it just didn't work out. So I'm gonna get him back to the camp, and we're gonna do a little more shooting, and hopefully he's prepared to shoot his first prairie dog. First day of scouting is in the books. We saw quite a few antelope, not as many as we were hoping for. We did find a spot for Jack Skinner to set up, not one for my grandpa, so hopefully we find one here in a couple days. We covered a lot of ground, and hopefully we can get a blind set up for my grandpa and see if he can drill an antelope. All right, it's day 2. When the sun was coming up this morning, we had some antelope grazing down here. I think there's some more antelope just right over there. But I think we're gonna go do some scouting today, and we're gonna go quite a bit farther, so let's go check it out. All right, we got some prairie dogs out here. I'm gonna see if we can get William on one, see if we can get it done for the first time.
hang on. Come here, come here. What are you supposed to do? Clear the whip.
That was pretty cool that William just shot his first prairie dog, but just wait till you see what I just found out here. Have you guys ever seen a horny toad? These things are really cool. We call them horny toads. They're actually known as horned lizards. They like to eat a lot of ants and other bugs. Cool fact about them is they can shoot blood out of their eyes if you harass them enough. I've never actually got one to do that, but I think it's still pretty cool. I'm gonna just find a nice little spot for him and let him go. Spent the rest of the day looking for good watering holes in antelope. Found a couple. Antelope wasn't too bad, but my grandpa did find a watering hole not too far from camp. So the original plan was that my grandpa was going to set up on that little watering hole, and Jack Skinner is going to set up where we call the sheep shed. And that all flip-flopped, and now my grandpa is hunting the sheep shed, and Jack Skinner is hunting that little pond. So hopefully it turns out good. All right, Jack's almost finished up. Now we're gonna head over to what we call the sheep shed and get my grandpa set up. All right, we're here at what we call the sheep shed. Jack is set up at the spot we just left. My grandpa's gonna set up here. Tomorrow, it's showtime. Alright, my grandpa's setting up a blind right here to shoot from. I'm going to be in there filming. And my Uncle Todd is setting up a blind kind of up on that slope. And he's going to get a different angle. This is the view from my grandpa's blind. You see the water tank out there where the antelope's going to come in to take a drink. And it's about 25 yards. I'm sitting in the blind right now, and this is all the antelope can see from the water tank. Here's my Uncle Todd setting up his camera equipment. If antelope do come in, we're gonna get some pretty cool footage. This is the view from my Uncle Todd's blind, and he has some pretty fancy camera equipment, so let's see how it turns out. We even set up some GoPros around the water tank to get a close-up of the action. Man, I'm getting excited. All right, it looks like we got everything set up, so we're gonna go back to camp. We're just gonna hang out, maybe shoot our bows, eat some chow, watch the sun go down, get some shut-eye, because tomorrow, it's opening day. Well, it's opening morning. We woke up, had some breakfast, jumped in the side-by-side, headed down to the blinds to crawl in. Now the waiting game begins. And you wouldn't believe how hot it gets in this blind. So if you have the urge to take a nap, there's nothing wrong with that. We got antelope in the blind. They're just hanging out back here, but it might be another hour before they come into water. Alright, we got 2 does and a couple of fawns coming in. All you can see is the top of this one doe's head, but they're definitely checking out the water. As usual, it's taking forever for these antelope to come in because they're a little spooky. All we're seeing right now is does and fawns, and my grandpa's not interested in shooting a doe. He says he's not going to be picky about shooting a buck, but we'll see. Right now, let's sit back and watch these does because this is awesome. So we're sitting here minding our own business, watching these does, and out of nowhere, a decent little buck comes in. My grandpa is scrambling to grab his bow and an arrow, and it was kind of chaos in the blind for a second. Wow, that was intense. I bet you guys are wondering what just happened. But like I said, he did sneak up on us, and before he knew it, that buck was in our underwear. My grandpa has shot quite a few antelope in his life, but this one, it just didn't work out. He shot over him just a little bit. He was so close to getting that antelope, but it didn't work out. So we're going to go find his arrow, and hopefully some more antelope will come in. We haven't had very much luck. Antelope haven't came in since my grandpa shot at that buck. So I think we're gonna go back to camp. Sounds like Jack Skinner's not having any luck either. But tomorrow is the last day we're gonna be here for this trip. So hopefully either Jack Skinner or my grandpa can stick an antelope with an arrow. As the does run off, I see a buck behind the blind. Man, I hope he commits. The buck worked his way around the sheep shed. He got a lot closer, but he wasn't thirsty enough to try his luck. And the buck finally left. We hung out a little longer to see if we can get another chance. But when it became obvious that that wasn't going to happen, we decided to call it a hunt. Well, I sure hope you liked this video. It was a fun trip, even though we didn't get an antelope. Jack Skinner actually did get some antelope coming into his blind, but there's too many and he couldn't get a shot. But my grandpa's schedule never lined up, so he could go back out and chase some goats. So me and my sister have some antelope tags opening up here pretty soon. So hopefully we can get the job done. But guys, I hope you liked the video. And as always, I'll see you next time.